over, guys. We need to have a chat. I must say that since Chamisa resigned, no, ZANU-PF is having sleepless nights. Every day we need to be talking about Chamisa online as if he's still around. So show me, who can tell me that this man is not is not powerful, is not controlling the ship, I must say. And also Thabo Mbeki, yeah, he has been exposed. Did you see what was happening yesterday on social media, across social media, literally? I think fake news, they were fake news, but you hear more in detail as we move along. But then I must say, if it's your first time to come across the channel, please do yourself a favor, subscribe and make sure that you ring the bell so that every time we are live or I drop a video, you'll be notified immediately. We need to have a conversation, Zimbabweans. I mean, I saw what was happening in America. The debates are going down. I must say, women are winning. You know, women are winning. So anyway, before we proceed, if it is your first time, please subscribe. Make sure that you ring the bell. And also to my regulars, I want to say shout out to you. I can see people tuning in as I'm speaking right now. I want to send you some love and light. And please don't forget to like the lives so that we push algorithm, invite everyone to the conversation. Edmore, good to see you. We have Sylvester right here. It's so good to see you guys. A number of people are tuning in right now. Peter, good to see you. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Good news, guys. Good news. You know Zimbabwe's opened the schools today. Neighbouring, good to see you. They opened their schools today. So there are kids who actually are in need of school fees. You know, in the rural folks, some kids don't even have, fees. And it's burning hard. But William Zimbabwe is doing incredible work, really, in the rural area, funding school fees for the kids. And he's appealing to everyone across the world, Zimbabweans, to be of a blessing and also assist. So here's the deal. I'm going to drop all the information in the description box so that you guys can be able to get hold of them. You don't send the money to me. It's going direct to the guys that are working on the very same project. I also want you to hear him out as he speaks, because he's going to speak to you. You know, he sent me the videos that I need to actually play for you. So at least it's no fambirana. We need that. Please, let's help each other. Let me tell you, the greatest thing that can ever happen to your life is to give, to be of a blessing to others. These are simply your seeds that you are sowing. So please, take a listen to Mr. William Zimbabwe. Take a listen, please.
Ndinokwazisai zvekare mhuri yeZimbabwe chekutanga ndichipa kutenda zvikuru kubatana kwatakaita patakatanga the village scholarship fund yakatanga second term zvikoro zviri muno muZimbabwe muSeke constituency. Takawana rubatsiro runotyisa kubva kune vari munyika nevamwe vari kunze kwenyika. So far taane vana 53 vari mukati meprogram iyoyi. Saka ndoda kutendai zvikuru, and as we march into the third term, vana vedu vakudzokera zvakare kuchikoro. The model yatatiri kushandisa was an adoption model, kuti munhu aiadopta mwana otanga kubhadhara zvizofamba zvakanaka. Saka chiri kuramba chikurudzira those who want to partner with us. Tine vana vakawanda vanoda kupinda mukati mechirongwa ichi, but kungoti zvikwanisiro ndo zvinenge zviri kunetsa. And if you still want to adopt, vamwe vakakwanisa kungoadopta vana just for the second term, they cannot do the third term. Vamwe vari kuramba vachipfuurira vachienda mberi, and as such we invite you from wherever you are, if you find it within your heart, as you prepare even for your own kids to go back to school, spare a thought for the less fortunate. Vari mukati menyika yeZimbabwe, mafees edu ari kungoita mari ari kurange from $25 to $40. That's the range in school fees edu. Saka tiri kuti kudii vamwe vangabvunze kuti how do we do this program? Ainetse zvatinoita isusu, tinotora mabanking details ekuchikoro, then we link you up nemwana, you pay direct to the school, because we want to enhance transparency and accountability nezvatiri kuita. But over and above that, tafunga kuti patakupinda mu-third term, we take it a notch higher. Tiri kuita sei? Tiri kuti over and above paying school fees for vana vedu, tinokwanisa kuisawo imwe infrastructure support yekuti vawane zvikwanisiro zvekushandisa vari kuchikoro. Saka tiri kuti isusu pa $3 pamwana wega wega tinokwanisa kutsvaga ma-exercise books edu, mapeni nemapenzo, so that anowana zvekushandisa kumba pamwe nekuchikoro. So we are targeting 300 vulnerable children from 300 different families for this third term as we move forward. For starters, kana muri willing, zvekare, you just get your exercise books, 10 exercise books, mapeni nemapenso, togadzira back to school kit yedu, topa mwana wedu oenda kuchikoro aine zvinhu zvakakwana. Mwari wekudenga akukomborere, akutungamirire as we embark on this noble journey together. God bless Seke constituents.
All right, so you've heard, like I said to you, the money goes direct to the schools. So if you want, please adopt a child and be of a blessing. This is just less than 1,000 rand. Honestly, Just do what you can. That's why you know I'm so passionate about Zimbabwean situation, the freedom, because it's a shame on ZANU-PF, shame on Guvamatanga. I'm telling you, shame on you, because you see how many houses that Guvamatanga bought in South Africa, yeah, to see how they're looting and spend the money. Yeah, it's a shame on these people. Honestly, having ZANU-PF in Zimbabwe's leadership is a curse. It is a curse on our country, honestly. I must say this, I saw a tweet that was sent out this morning by Dr. Walter Muzembe. He's asking questions, why aren't we do debates? But I say to myself, the politics that we have is just a mess. It is a mess. This is one of the reasons why our country is stagnant. We do not have people who have a heart to help. So I'm going to read the tweet that he sends out. He said, these exchanges are beautiful. He's watching about what's happening in America there between Trump and Kamala. He said, why are we denied presidential debates in Africa and we vote on mass rallies, antics, and sungura dances which do not test candidates' political intellect, economic aptitude, general coherence, and anchor management under pressure? But you guys started, I'm just going to say to Dr. Walter Muzembe, you guys have set the tone under the administration of Mugabe, unfortunately, you know. I know it's not your fault, it's not you directly, but I'm just saying, if Mugabe administration set up a great foundation of debates, what are we having debates today? You know, last year I saw a bit of debates that were happening with the member of parliament, but anyway, what happened eventually, it was all a mess. But there were incredible responses that I need to read here. The first one was Onward, who said, we use popularism instead of intellect. Most of them are void of the intellectual capacity on state facts or interpret their blueprints in figures and cents. And then also Zim Justice said Mnangagwa can never debate on facts. All he knows is threatening innocent citizens who is asking for a job. We should just fire him for sleeping on the job, corruption, incompetence, for terrorizing innocent citizens. And also Chief Mangwende Jr. said, Africa is a jungle and full of intolerance in the political field. We don't promote freedom of choice freely. Also, voters are too toxic to each other, such that we can't debate and accept different views or opinions, which I completely agree. So I must say the debate was incredible between Kamala Harris and Trump. Because I'm a woman, so I'll go with the lady. My lady, Miss Kamala, go ahead. You know, go ahead. But I know some people think Trump did well, but I was checking and see what was happening on social media. People really have seen that Trump was, annihilated. That debate was an interesting debate. All right, so we're going to move on. I must say, honestly, ZANU-PF cannot sleep without attacking Chamisa. Unprovoked. I'm saying unprovoked. You understand? Who owns Zim Life paper? Because I'm very interested to know who it is. Can I tell you that Thabo Mbeki had a speech at UNISA where he mentioned Zimbabwe and the xenophobia that happened in 2008. 2008 is a very interesting year for me because that's when my mama went to heaven. That's when my mama was not feeling quite well. So yeah, it's an interesting year. But that very same year, xenophobia that happened, Thabo Mbeki came out and he mentioned that xenophobia that happened was actually perpetuated by individuals who had interest. But while he was talking, he never mentioned any party. But to my surprise, Zim Live and the Herald reported that the opposition, and when I say opposition, they refer that to the MDC. I want to read what Zim Live said here. They said, Mbeki says, South Africa's xenophobic attacks in 2008 were sponsored by MDC. Straight-faced ex-leader claims attacks were organized, systematic, and planned for political purposes. Because I do not want to tell you what I think he said, because this is not even correct. But you need to listen to Thabo Mbeki yourself when he addressed that issue. If what is being reported or what is circulating on social media is true, because it's not even true. But let's listen to Thabo Mbeki when he's speaking about Zimbabwe.
It's about the African Renaissance. Part of what has happened in the continent, and don't ask me why, is a very, very clear decline in the levels of commitment to a Pan-African perspective. You see it everywhere, it's very visible. So the matter of a renaissance of the continent, it suffers that kind of fate. When this commitment to a Pan-African perspective dies away, and people are very preoccupied with what happens in my country, which is justified, but does not mean you focus on your country to the exclusion of the continent. There's been a retreat from that Pan-African perspective. It affects this African Renaissance thing. It's It's in the leadership. It's in our political leadership on the continent. It's not among the masses of the people. The masses of the people continue to share this view that as a continent we share the same destiny. What do we do together? It's a matter of great debate in this country about the so-called undocumented people. Since the beginning of diamond mining in the 19th century, later gold mining and all of that, this country has seen lots of Africans from the rest of the continent moving to this country. The issue of many other Africans being present with us is not new. And historically, the indigenous African community has never ever been hostile to other Africans coming from other African countries. But take the old townships, Alexander Township in Johannesburg. That township has always had people from all over the continent. With no friction, with no nothing. Historically, the African community here has never been xenophobic about other Africans. In 2008, all manner of trouble breaks out in Alexander Township in Johannesburg. Attack on these foreigners, particularly Zimbabweans. Then it spread elsewhere. Xenophobia, Afrophobia. So me, I say, when I saw that thing in government, I was president. I say, but this is it's not Alexander Township. Alex for decades has had Zimbabweans and Mozambicans and this and that and that, and never ever this conflict. Why? There's a mistake we made as government, and not to disclassify an intelligence document about what happened in Alexander 2008. That thing was organized to drive the Zimbabweans out of the country back to Zimbabwe because there were elections in Zimbabwe. It was people who were being driven out, they were going to vote against Bob Mugabe. An intelligence report which has got the names and the dates and the venues where people was met and planned this and so on. It's presented as a xenophobic attack by the people of Alex against it. It was wrong. It was organized, systematic for a political purpose. We've got many challenges of the economy here. Unemployment, very serious problem. Economy is in crisis. I'm a former president of this country, and you'll never ever convince me that this economy is in crisis because of foreigners. It's not true. It's not true. It's because there's certain things that have happened with regard to the economy which have produced economic crisis, resulting among other things in unemployment.
You see, the fact remains, we have people both from Zimbabwe and South Africa who are causing us misery. There are those that are benefiting from our suffering in Zimbabwe, who are also in South Africa here. I do remember what that was Jahaman posted on social media. There was a day that he said that if you guys know how white people are looting from Zimbabwe, from South Africa, you'll be shocked. And these kind of people are the ones that play the games, and then they start dragging us and act like it's the opposition. And I'm seeing ZANU-PF running with the narrative. It's not even true. Did he mention any opposition here? Did he mention any opposition? But they are pushing a wrong narrative because the issue is Chamisa has to be painted dark. It's always about Chamisa, not about what ZANU-PF is not doing right. No. It's like their project is only one man. That's what I always say. As much as you say this man is weak, but how can he become weak when you're always focusing on him? And I must say this to politicians. Okay, this is just my message. Like I'm just saying this to you. What you are calling a weakness about Chamisa is what people want. And I'm going to explain to you why Zimbabwe don't need violence. Zimbabwe needs a peaceful man. They want leaders. And the leaders are known for being humble and peaceful. So if you just want to win the hearts of Zimbabweans, just be a leader. Because gimmicks nema games are dirty zvirikuitika social media zvekunyepa kuti hey, opposition was the one that caused a xenophobia in South Africa. I can only imagine. So you tell me the leaders that were the leaders then. I'm talking about Atenda Bitu were leaders, Vana Chamisa were leaders. There was quite a number of guys, Vana Washman, they're also in leadership. Are you telling me that they came to South Africa and organized to go and start attacks in Alexandria just to prove a point? So people can vote for Mugabe out. Does that really make sense to you? It's all a lie. It is a lie. I can see ZANU-PF running with that narrative because the spokesperson, Fare Marapira, is sending out a statement this morning. He said recent revelations by former South African President Thabo Mbeki showed that South African intelligence picked up that certain leaders in Zimbabwe's opposition orchestrated the 2008 xenophobic attacks in places like Alexandria. Did he ever mention that? This was a heinous attempt to force Zimbabweans in South Africa to return home and influence the beside in their favor at the cost of lives, properties, and livelihoods. ZANU-PF family condemns these underhands attacks and the evil, soulless machinations behind him. President Mbeki's revelations expose that we have always stated the Zimbabwean opposition is the main mercenary. No, you wanted to say is the main mercenary agents of neo-imperialism, are self-centered and are therefore a blatant doomsday cult and author of disorder for many challenges bedeviling our motherland, including the illegal sanctions foisted on us by the United States of America. They have no conscience. ZANU-PF recognized that the historical camaraderie amongst us as African spinning centuries have been undermined by such despicable acts. Indeed, these acts were not spontaneous, but rather systematic and politically driven. The opposition's use of such violence and mayhem to drive Zimbabweans out of South Africa in order to influence electoral outcomes back home reflects a disturbing level of inherent cruelty, desperation, and malice. We urge that the report be declarified so it serves as an indictment of all individuals involved in orchestrating these attacks. Such insidious attacks on our citizens abroad flies against the African spirit of Ubuntu. We need to work towards fostering a spirit of unity and cooperation amongst us all Africans. As Zimbabweans, let us unite against such malevolent tactics that threaten our dignity and solidarity as a nation. It is imperative that we be united as we march towards Vision 2030 under the visionary leadership of His Excellency Mnangagwa. We are our brother's keeper, not our brother's wrecker. Then he attached ZANU-PF. I must say this, it makes a lot of sense. People have always been complaining about Thabo Mbeki. Remember that in 2008, he was on the side of ZANU-PF. So now, just looking at this, how people are twisting his statement, to me, I can just see where it's going. Maybe Thabo Mbeki is upset. He is upset because he has always been blamed. Like you sanitized the election 2008. So maybe for some reason, I'm desperate to see that report. I want to see the report. And I want to see who are the people that are being accused of orchestrating the xenophobic attacks. But again, I'm still in between here. I cannot believe that the opposition would leave Zimbabwe. Okay, I know there's some people in here who support opposition, but really, they would start fire in South Africa with how South Africa is, just to prove a point. Do you believe it? Conversations here, Zimbabweans always converse that the enemy of Zimbabwe is ZANU-PF, and everyone knows the reason why we are in this quagmire, the poverty that we are in, the exodus for people to South Africa, it's being caused by ZANU-PF and no one else. But blaming the opposition, no, I don't buy that. I do not. Considering that it was reported by Herald and also Zim Live. And you must remember that there are people who have interest here. ZANU-PF is got young people who have interest to resuscitate this entire saga. So I just think that they are behind all these things. People talk, remember? People have conversations out there. And some people are just feeding in information that is not correct to politicians because what they want is to paint Chamisa being the bad person, in my opinion. And by the way, it's not, some people think that I'm crazy by supporting Chamisa. No, 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 no. It's not even about, I'm not obsessed with supporting Chamisa. I have to look at facts. The fact remains, there are people who are working 24/7 trying to tarnish him. They want to destroy him. We can see at home, I'm sure abroad as well. When I say abroad, I'm referring to South Africa here. There are people who are working, trying to destroy him. But I want to look at the responses here. Then Duchess of Sport said, you can't be this stupid. Xenophobia was purely an act by South Africans, and it was horrific. So you're wanting to support Mbeki's claims that because you hate the opposition is equally xenophobic. Mazibo sinonyepera kudziza, yet foolish. You know, Makutodumisana Musoro Mbeki. You know, you're kind of fighting because of Thabo Mbeki. And then Charles said the whole world and us Zimbabweans knows Mbeki has been fighting on behalf of ZANU-PF, and is the reason why Zimbabweans are suffering too today. Dexter, he said, simply taking what Mbeki said without a shred of evidence is dangerous. Only a virtuous person will celebrate this absolute nonsense. And Denzel, he said, that's why the economy will continue to sidesteps. You guys, you are so pathetic when it comes to reason and applying it. Who believes such nonsense? If they picked it, why didn't they alert you? With your taste of throwing people in jail, if so, why didn't you go for Ari Ben Menashe? Okay, that's one thing that I was asking myself, that, okay, honestly, if that was the case, why is it South Africa kept the information until Mbeki just speak like he's just saying something while he's giving a speech at the University of South Africa? If there was an issue such as this, issue is a serious issue, why are they quiet? Why were they quiet? Why even are they not sending out that report? I want to see it. I must say, if you are a Zimbabwean, I know Zimbabweans are desperate. There are some people who are desperate to topple Chamisa. I must say this to you guys. Any person that will try to, to subvert the will of the people in Zimbabwe will not succeed. You know, the only way that will bring sanity in this country, in Zimbabwe, is when we go back to the drawing board, having a free, fair, and credible election. That's why transition authority is very important. I think people sitting down and have a dialogue is very important. That's why reforms are very important. Because if we think we can wiggle our sauce to the front, yeah, I'm sorry to say this, it will not succeed. It will not succeed because the people are going to reject it. Zimbabweans will not take it. Let's go back to the drawing board and have a free and fair election. Whoever wins, please, that person can be given an opportunity to lead. And then, should the person fail, the people who take responsibility and impeach, I'm sure we need to go back and re-look at our constitution and make sure people respect it. But I'm going to ask you to drop your location, please. I need to know where you guys are watching us from. Very important for preparation. Yeah, we are going somewhere. Okay, so I must say this. If you are a politician who aspire to have leadership in Zimbabwe, I must tell you something. You cannot be at the front by all means. Follow the principles. I am sick and tired of toxic politics. I am tired of abuse like the way ZANU-PF does stuff, because the moment you get to the front, by all means, you are going to be, by all means, keeping yourself intact. And I'm terrified. I do not want to see Zimbabweans going back where they're coming from, because we cannot be worse. When we allow people who are disrespecting processes, then we know we are doomed forever. Let's go back to the drawing board. Have a free and fair election and get a leader of people's choice. Not individuals, desire. Because of course, there are many who wants to be at the front. There are many who wants to be presidents in the country. Of course, there are people who have interest. But the question is, do you have the support of the people? Most of you definitely not. You know why? Because of your resumes. When we say, let's look at your track record, there's a lot that's happening there. It doesn't mean that you're not a good leader. But that's what happens in life. That's why we always say, mind your actions. Because your actions will always going to catch up with you. Right? Today I was laughing because there's a document that I received during the day, and I was laughing. I laughed and I said, do these people even know who I am or where I'm going? Because one day they will see me somewhere and they're going to be terrified. Because they think they're bringing me down. They don't know I'm even far better than that. You understand what I'm saying? No. I know how to play the game. You see what I'm saying? But that's the problem with Zimbabweans. We're very good at trying to pull each other down. We are not the promoter of success. I can guarantee you, we can wake up tomorrow with a different country if we understand how to believe in each other. Because believing in each other is not about how much educated you are and who is your father and your mother, how much money is in your bank account. Is we understand that the person has the capacity or potential, even when they are not perfect, right? So I still say to those that do not believe or think that Chamisa is not a good leader, I just want you to understand that the same way you are sending negative energy is how that negative energy is coming back to you. If you don't believe in him, people don't believe in you as well. So learn to believe in others if you want to receive the very same energy and support. Okay, but moving on, we all can see that ZANU-PF is falling apart. There's no doubt about it. It is falling apart. That's one of the reasons why it's falling apart, because you've spent most of your time on hatred. Guys, principles of life. You do not succeed if you're not operating from love. You are literally destroying yourself. That's what ZANU-PF does not know. They self-destroyed the entire party. Because I can tell you, I saw this tweet that was sent out by Chimama this morning. He said, "Good morning, Zimbabweans. You did it in the streets. My son, corrupt ex, chilled now. Quiet. You can see, Chiva is quiet. You know, the clownish Twabamo State House nonsense muted. Mana Twabamo waka blogger from the State House. But simply people speaking truth to power. 2013 then the sheepo is crushed. I saw Modo yesterday sitting and I was like, Kutanda Botoko. It's finished. This is why I keep on saying to my brothers, please learn to respect the rules. Please, if you want to succeed in life, there are laws that govern success, not by all means, right? And how I feel it's a gango. We saw Mnangagwa across the country cooking. It's over. Because the destiny is rejecting such tactics. They no longer work anymore. You do not understand the times and the seasons. There's also the man Habden dying palms. You know, Simar, you know those palm trees? They're dead. It's no longer working. You have expired. You understand? Right? So he said, never underestimate voice. You are powerful. Next time, we need online protest. It's not illegal. Let's list our demands. Guys, we need to start online speaking adamantly and boldly that this leadership is completely failed. The leadership of President Mnangagwa, this one here, is the worst of them all. Like the worst. Do you even know that as we speak, you heard, right, Madzimba Muto on record asking for help that kids are not going to school because they can't afford school fees. And ZANU-PF has been pushing this free education nonsense. And I must say, I'm not a promoter of free education. I'll tell you what. I think it's a good thing under, like in a situation of Zimbabwe. But I'm not a promoter of it because I'm a promoter of teach people to work for things. Do not promote free, because it can mess up people psychologically, right? But we know in a Zimbabwean context now, we may need it just to help the young people, those people that can't afford. But under normal circumstances, we should learn to promote hard work and teach our children, except we're helping the elders, how to work. Because right now, as we see that people are struggling to pay school fees, kids can't even go to school. We are sitting with Mr. Guvamatanga, who's buying 12 properties, cash, in South Africa, as we speak. I must put this on record. It's not only Guvamatanga for your own information. It's just that people haven't get into all the nitty-gritties. I literally know someone who is more like the father was a minister for years in ZANU-PF as well. This guy owes a lot. He owes maybe they go almost 60 million if I'm not mistaken. A lot. I'm just saying. A lot. Right? But the time will come when that information comes out. I'm simply telling you that there are a lot of Zimbabwean thugs who are owning properties here. But there's only Guvamatanga whom the NewsHawks are reporting. He bought 12. And they actually listed, we talk of millions of dollars. Cash. Not because you can't qualify for a bond, because Zimbabweans, everyone who is in Zimbabwe cannot qualify for a bond. If you are working in Zimbabwe, because there's no stable currency, except those that are working out of the country. Let's say you are in America or wherever, Zambia, but you have a pay slip and you can qualify. Please feel free to get hold of me. You can buy properties in South Africa on 50% the deposit, and then 50% the bank will fund, right? And remember, it's gonna be in your name. Some people ask me funny questions, but yeah, you can buy properties if you want some. Mr. Guvamatanga in this position, monies are being signed out, being paid for goods that were never delivered, but the man is buying properties cash in South Africa. Some of them in Sandton. We look at Randburg, Fourways, Dainfern. Dainfern is actually an upmarket place. And people know, we talk about golf course. I've got some of my relatives that stays there, but you know, I can't afford to be there yet. Let me drink water, Holy Spirit. I can't afford, but there's some of my buddies and my relatives that stays that side there. Yeah, he is in Golf Estate as well, and in the south, from what I'm seeing here. So I think in total, I don't know why they do some $5.6 million US that he buys, and that is Guvamatanga. 2.9 million US 2.9 million rand, sorry. 2.9 million rand, 4.9 million, 5.6 million, 3 million, you know, 1.6 million. These are both cash. Remember, some are under these, maybe his kids' names. 1.5, 6.3 million as well. Wow, yeah. And this one is under Vimbai Guvamatanga and Evans Kudakwashe, I think. Because you know what they do? They normally put proxies, try to hide stuff, right? Man, 964,000, 1.3, 720, 850 million, you know, 850,000, sorry, my bad, not 850 million. I don't know what a house can that be. That's Mr. Guvamatanga. And you know, these days he's moving around with so much stature and arrogance. And he had like flamboyant wedding for his daughter in Cape Town. This man is living, he wears expensive Rolex watch, millions of dollars. And when you look at his lifestyle, you know, I saw today they were saying, oh, he's got a farm. Hold on. We know. But at the time of forum, we'll get to understand what's really going on. Now, looking at the president, Mnangagwa's leaguers, though, although he has got ambition to kind of building this big, he's got these dreams of modernized Zimbabwe. That's what he's saying. You hear him now having his interview in China. He had an interview in China. Is it not safe to say China is the god of Zimbabwe? I'm talking about the god G-O, smaller G-O-D. Because the way President Mnangagwa is hailing China, I've never in my lifetime heard a president in that way speak the way that he does about China. But he is. And I'm asking myself, with all these relationships that we have as a country, I did not know that the Robert Mugabe International Airport was funded by China. I did not know that, actually. Or I don't know if they funded or they built, whatever the case may be, but China seems to be having their hands on there. We all know, again, that even the parliament, which is in a disaster today as we speak, it was also, again, being funded by China as well. Now, I have a question to the Second Republic. What did you achieve? What did the Second Republic achieve? Let's not even the Second Republic, because you know the airport started during the Mugabe era, right? It started during even the airport as well started during the Mugabe era. I'm talking of renovations, right? The Chinese and doing whatever they were doing. I'm just asking a question. What is it that the Second Republic and ZANU-PF in general did to the Zimbabwean people? What is it that they've done in the country? Like, what did they do except destroying the stuff that Smith left? But let's listen to President Mnangagwa in this interview in China. And there was someone who said to me, the person thinks that I hate President Mnangagwa. No, I don't. I can't hate him. He's a president of a country. He can't be hated by anybody. I don't hate him. I'm simply talking about what's going on in Zimbabwe. Not that I've got hatred. No, definitely not. I'm a lover. I don't have hatred in my heart. Please take a listen.
You know that a very important part of this forum is exchanging ideas on how to join hands towards building modernization. And many African leaders, including you, Mr. President, have arrived days in advance to go to different cities to get a better understanding about the modernization process here in the country. So what are some of the major gains for you from the travel that you had to different cities in Jiangsu, Hunan, as well as Guangdong province? Some of the lessons that you think are inspirational to the modernization process in your country?
Looking at the question as an individual, I have been to China. I came here about 61 years ago.
Right.
And stayed here. I know the China of 60 years ago and the China we are in today. In between the 60 years, I've visited China several times. So I firsthand the leapfrogging of development and modernization of Chinese cities. If I think of what Peking was 61 years ago and what Beijing is today, is the differences of day and night. But of course, I know in my mind, in my vision, what it was 60 years ago. And I marvel at what it is today, which means there was tremendous transformation, tremendous modernization, tremendous industrialization of this country. This style of life, which was there 60 years ago, this style of life which is there today. If we focus on looking at our domestic resources to build our countries and take the responsibility ourselves to build our own country with our own vision, what we want to achieve, what we want to be.
During your trip in Shenzhen, you visited Chinese companies including BYD and Huawei. You actually said the NEVs are very comfortable and you could easily fall asleep while experiencing them. Well, Mr. President, it looks like you're very keen in exploring the new spheres of cooperation in areas such as green technology and digital transformation. Is that the case?
For my own part, I admire what has been achieved. And as I moved around visiting these companies, some of the elder corporate heads understand what I say, because I tell them what they were 60 years ago and what they are today. So I say to them, look, I would want to leapfrog development in my country. We need to make sure as we leapfrog our transformation and modernization, we do it thoroughly and perfectly.
Maybe you have also noticed that the participants here at the forum are very passionately talking about how to write a new chapter for the China-Africa community with a shared future. So what is your vision in bringing that forward?
In terms of vision, all of us as the African countries have different endowments in our respective countries. Let's look at Zimbabwe. From the discussion, three things come out, for us in particular. We must continue to make sure that we modernize and mechanize and keep our status as a food secure country. Number two, we must build and construct infrastructure so that it becomes the backbone of the modernization and industrialization of our country. Number three, we must not forget ourselves, our culture and our education. As we pursue our education, it must be anchored on who we are and bring in science, technology and innovation, but again, on the basis of who we are as we move forward. We should not lose our own characteristics. You say yourselves, we will develop with Chinese characteristics.
That's right.
So the same for us.
Today, during the bilateral meeting with Chinese President Xi has proposed a 5-star ironclad cooperation framework. How do you understand its significance?
I was so appreciative of what President Xi Jinping said. The degree and the warmth of cooperation he exuded towards Zimbabwe was beyond my expectation. And the offer he has given to support Zimbabwe's transformation, again, is beyond whatever me and my delegation expected. When we left, we discussed about it and said, here are indeed friends at heart, friends to be depended on in the transformation and journey for us to develop our country.
Another important issue being touched upon during the meeting is next year, 2025, marks the 45th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. So what is your vision in commemorating this very important milestone and taking the opportunity to bring the bilateral relations to even greater heights?
Our relations between Zimbabwe and China are at the level of comprehensive partnership and relations. We must lift this to a higher level between the two countries. In the years we have these diplomatic relations, our cooperation has deepened comprehensively. Look at any aspect of the economy or society. We are cooperating in education, we are infrastructure. Today, if you look at the infrastructure in Zimbabwe, you see the footprint of our relations with China. Our new international airport in Harare, in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
I believe, well, I'm not marking my own papers, but I believe that it's the best international airport in our region. And we continue to deepen that relationship. And we support each other at the regional and international forum. We know that whatever position I take on an issue, China will support. Whatever China takes, Zimbabwe will support the Chinese position because we are one in terms of both domestic and foreign policy challenges.
Talking about infrastructure footprint of China, this is you at the commissioning ceremony of the international airport in the capital city.
Yes.
And you look happy and proud. And actually, you've said that, and I quote here, that this project would bring positive outcome to the economy of your country. So, Mr. President, now it has been about a year since the completion of this project. What are some of the major changes that you have observed that is being brought and created by this project?
Last month in August, we had the SADC Summit of Heads of State in Harare. To the person, each head of state found occasion to have a chat with me and say, my brother, your airport, your new airport, the facilities that are there, just the rooms which are there now, they say, honestly, what is this? Well, I will not tell them that the whole vision is from China. I will say, I have a vision for my country. And I ask people who have the capacity to implement the vision I have. It is so devastating in terms of beauty. The facilities now which are there, even yourself when you come, you will always be looking up and so as you walk, you say, no, you can also look down. It's so beautiful, it's so majestic. So each head of state, when they came for the summit, when we have one-to-one chat, each to the individual commented one or two things about what they saw, and they feel that, but look, my brother, I don't know how you do it, but this is admirable, and I wish that I have the capacity to do the same. I said, no, you will never reach a situation where you say, oh, now resources are there for me to do the following. It's a question of saying, this is what we want to do, and they do it.
And China is actually the very first non-African country that you chose to visit in 2018 after taking office. How do you think the enhanced ties between China and Zimbabwe contribute to boosting relations between China and Africa?
To be honest, I don't know of any African country where China has not impacted the development of that particular country. My view is that most of us on the African continent, in our development, you can recognize the impact of cooperation with China. I had a meeting yesterday with His Excellency President Xi Jinping here.
Right.
And I informed him a list of infrastructure development supported by China in our transformation and the infrastructure development in our country. We went through all that. So you can see that there is historical cooperation between Zimbabwe and China.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Actually, I didn't know that the airport is like the most, beautiful airport. I think Ora Tambo is a monster airport. I don't know. I actually had Dara said, was it Kenya or no, there's somewhere. Which country is it? Where he said, we used to hear that our airport is nice, but that airport is very nice. I still need to check in to find out which country is that. But if I just look at our airport and Ora Tambo, I think Ora Tambo is nicer and it's also bigger. It's a monster. Ora Tambo is a monster one. I know. I'm not saying about my experience. All right, that's an interesting one. That makes me really laugh right now. But I think President Mnangagwa don't get this. Corruption and abuse of human rights are the only reason why ZANU-PF is in MS. Corruption. These two things. Yesterday I was listening to Naledi Pando, who actually resigned. No, she did not. She did not resign, but I think her term expired. That was the Minister of Foreign Affairs in South Africa, and she said something so powerful. She said, you know what, the problem that we have us as a liberation parties is when other people are doing wrong, we protect them. Like ANC, there was a lot of corruption that happened, and we kept on protecting these guys. She also said, but again, I still believe that people need to be responsible. In other words, what she was saying is, I need to think about how I was raised. This is why I don't understand when people like Guvamatanga are looting and kids can't even go to school. Like, what's in your head when you're doing that? What's going on in your heads, guys? When you guys are letting money just fly, are being spent like nothing. And then tomorrow you wake up and kids can't go to school. How do you even sleep at night? But that's the reason why ZANU-PF is the name is corruption. Corruption and abuse of human rights. If you address those two things, you'll be fine. I don't think if ZANU-PF do not, employ the corrupt, machination, they'll be in this mess. They won't be in this mess. But unfortunately, I don't think they even have the capacity to lead at all. They're simply there to take and take and take. They've created a culture where people don't believe in work, but simply collecting and go home. You collect and go home. I was shocked when I saw a meeting yesterday. These are actually the councillors in Harare. Where under Mafume, quote unquote, Mr. Mafume, which is story I'm going to do on it, on that story alone. People have never done no audits since 2021. We are in 2024. No audits. This is the city of Harare. There's no audits done at all. Some people bring their own pinpoints and be taking money and go home. They'll be taking money. They can't even have China. Do you understand? All they're doing is to come to work, take the money, and go home. And the diaspora is working tirelessly, not only working and feed their families, they're now going back to Zimbabwe, take care of their family members who are suffering. So we are working for these guys to just live their fancy life. But I can't wait for a day where we are going to be taking all those properties back. That day is coming. And I'll be here saying, hello guys, that time has arrived. We are taking everything back that the enemy has stolen. Everything. Because it is sad. It is sad. It is really sad, honestly. But and again, the army is adamant. They are not going to allow Mnangagwa to extend his tenure. The army said, no, it's not going to happen. By the way, I'm not even worried about the army at all. Zimbabweans are saying, no, we are not going to agree. But I don't even care about the constitution because it was never followed anyway over the years. We know they've been doing whatever they want to do. The point is, when you listen to this interview for the president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, is he someone that you can give more time in the office? And when I'm saying this, I'm not even saying that he's a bad person. I'm looking at his work, okay? I'm going to have to answer someone who said, I've got hatred for him. No, I don't. I don't have hatred at all. What I'm looking at is his work, okay? You must know there's a difference between President Emmerson Mnangagwa as a person and the position that he holds in Zimbabwe as a president. There's a difference between the two, okay? I don't even know where he stays. I don't even know what he ate yesterday because I'm not interested. What I'm interested in is when I look at people looting money, what does he say as a president? Because all these reports are right in front of him. He can see the country deteriorating. He averted many times he's speaking and complaining that I don't know what's going on. In fact, I heard that Guvamatanga was fired once and then he went and begged the son. I'm saying these were simply speculations on social media. And he went and begged the President Mnangagwa's son to reinstate him. Now my question is, you have seen now that these people are looting the money. What are you doing about it as a leader? So I'm not worried about him as a person. I'm talking about his work. Remember, he left his own house. We were not looking for him. We left Zimbabwe. He's always said, and he was in exile in South Africa shortly. And then he went back in Zimbabwe, toppled Mugabe. We, as a Zimbabwean people, we did not even look for him. He came on his own and said, your voice is the voice of God, right? So when we ask you questions here, it's not about his personal life, it's about his work. So don't confuse the two. So when we are talking about Guvamatanga here, we are questioning. These questions are valid. Sir, when we look at your salary, right, that you earn, and the money that's being looted, and the properties that you are buying, and why you are authorizing monies that people have never even supplied the goods. How are you living your life? We are questioning. It doesn't mean that we are saying we hate. No. I don't hate Guvamatanga. I don't even know where he stays. I'm not worried about it. If he feels that the questions that we are asking are too much, the door is open. Yeah, there are many people in Zimbabwe who can save too. The door is wide open. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like we are desperate to say, no, we want Guvamatanga here, you must stay. No, we are not desperate. In fact, we want them gone yesterday. So you see the difference. Yeah, so we need to be clear on that one. ZANU-PF people, you need to understand one thing, and one thing for sure. We don't care how these people live their own lives at home. We care a lot about how they are behaving while they are in these positions, in the government positions, right? So you need to separate the two, so that we all on the same page, right? Yeah, because there seems to be some confusion here. I know some of you pretend like you don't know what you're talking about. So when we question, we know we are questioning their work, right? Are you the right person? Do you have ethics? Do you have integrity, right? And if you don't have that, then what are you doing? You see what I'm saying? So please separate the two. We love them as brothers. We always do, because we are commanded to love. Especially me. I'm commanded to do so. But when it comes to work, yes, we have expectations and we are going to question. So please there's no hatred here. Love lives right here. But we have to question where applicable. So the army is adamant it's not going to happen for the president. Again, yesterday I saw the NewsHawks reporting the very same news that the military is stumbling block to Mnangagwa's maneuver. The army is clear on this issue, and they said it very, very clear. The president has to serve his constitutional second term and retire in 2028. He can't cross the line. But he is also on record saying he doesn't care anymore. The pressure is too much, y'all. The pressure is way too much. I know in the Mugabe era, we didn't have this opportunity to speak the way that we do, because, we didn't have social media the way that we do. It was there, but I wasn't really, or many people were not that much active. But now things are changing. The world is turning upside down. So honestly, I think those we used to consider powerful men are falling flat. I can see how Trump is being annihilated there. Those that you used to think are powerful men are are falling flat. Are falling flat. All right, guys. So you mustn't forget to like the live and also share with others and leave the comments, but respectively, because remember they're coming in to read your comments. This is why you see me making it clear that this is work. It's not personal. So please don't get it twisted. Yeah, please. We love you. We do. We believe in you a lot, but we need to question your work here. Are you doing it right? If you're not doing it right, then it's not working. Like we believe in everybody, right? Yeah, I believe in Chamisa. I believe in whoever, Chapman. I believe in Linda Masara. I don't care if she can do it or not, but I think her dreams are valid, so I believe in them. I believe in Kasugura. I believe in whoever, me too, if I want to be a president, of which I don't have those aspirations, but I'm saying any Zimbabwean who may have the aspiration to lead this. I was even saying to myself yesterday, I said, I can only imagine if there are young people in their 20s or 30s right now who are wise, what they could do is to start planning to build a very strong political party that act like the way the Democrats does. ZANU-PF failed because of corruption and human rights abuse. If they could have managed that and changing leaders, ZANU-PF could be the strongest party in Zimbabwe. But unfortunately, they failed to play the game. And I must say this to any politician who come after ZANU-PF or Chamisa, please build a very strong political party that people cannot stand and change leaders. No corruption, no human rights abuse, no dishonesty. Cut those people out. No strategic ambiguity. Everything must be right in front of people. It's yes or no, right? And then let me tell you, then you build a strong legacy. That's what ZANU-PF failed, to build a strong legacy. You guys are failing small things. Politicians, hear me out. You have what it takes to do incredible things, to leave your own name. Because I'm telling you why. Because this leadership of ZANU-PF completely failed. They do not have no name. These ones will go down in history as the most failures on earth. So they have no name. You come in and build a strong institutions. And you work with the people, men and women of classy, respect, honor, integrity, humility. When I say classy, I'm talking about classy. You want a classy. pane kuti vanhu voruma street uye muchibvisa vanhu vakavhoterwa muchiisa tsvina muparliament who don't even have a clue muchibvisa no. You should work with the greatest brains in town, and you know what, then you win. And make sure it grows like the way the Democrats are playing in America. They're not perfect, but many they are playing the good politics here. Look, imagine Chamisa tomorrow standing with maybe Ostalosi or any person. I don't want to mention names because it's like I'm a favorite. I don't have a favorite. I'm just any person, like maybe in that party, if we be part of the party, right? And he's campaigning for the person. Look, even in Mozambique, it's happening. I saw it recently. ZANU-PF, you are failing. I can't wait if President Mnangagwa tomorrow can be on the campaign trail and said, I'm helping Chiwenga. That's what we want. That kind of politics. And so, I believe in, if it's Muchangwa, whoever they choose. And start pushing. That's what we want. When are we going to grow and stop having this hoard? No one owns the space. No one owns the space. We must learn to believe in each other and work together to build a better country. Or maybe President Mnangagwa campaigning for Kasuku in ZANU-PF. Do you understand? We want to start building strong institutions that save our people, not institutions of hatred, not pushing agenda. Managana should be removed in the office. George Guvamatanga should be removed. They do not respect the people. They communicate like they're talking to animals. Hey, you're talking to successful, intelligent, classy men and women across the world. Okay, respect for Manyika though. Who said I can never stand? Manyika was very clear. I can't market Zimbabwe because they will embarrass me. He's right. Right? Not just say you're a Zimbabwe, you kind of hide. Like, I'm a Zimbabwean. You don't want people to know. Right? Except me with my big, no, I'm a Zimbabwean. It has been known across, it has always been known. But I'm just saying, please, you must understand we have got a legacy to protect. You have a name to protect. To protect the name. We want to speak good about it, but you guys, you keep on speaking ill of the country by speaking nonsense, vile on social media. Especially George and Farai, Mutangwa. These people are poison. They're poison. Can I tell you? I was even saying, what's the name? Tino Machakaira, right? That's the name. He wrote a very interesting message last week, I think, and people were like, "What?" He wrote very, very pristine English that he wrote. And it's not like Rumbi who did not like English teacher. Who taught yourself English? I taught myself English because I did not like the English teacher. He was too serious for me. He was an amazing. Shout out to Vamufuka there. He was an incredible teacher. However, I was a naughty child then because all I wanted was to play. Let's play where we study. He was too serious. Again, the class, he wanted me to, do my work. And I'm like, but let's just play. And I do what I have to do. Let's play, That's room. So, but Tino wrote incredible English. But at the end of the day, everything was like backed up with a lot of violence. And the lack of integrity and classy. Lack of classy. Yo, you're lacking, have some, you are lacking something. There's something that is missing. You have lost the aura a long time ago by simply promoting evil. It doesn't cut. It does not cut. Learn to love people. Respect people. You are because of the people. Right? Please. Please. So guys, leave your comments in the comment section and send some love. For ZANU-PF, stay. Yeah. We need to change in my tirots. Garai panabo. Stay. Subscribe. Panabo. Udzela moment you are to subscribe to the channel. We need to fix the country. Okay? We need to clear the mess out. All right. I love you guys. God bless you and God bless Zimbabwe. Please make sure that you share my videos with others because people need to come through. We have to have conversations. I must say it's very important for us to speak. Please, I'm begging you, because without speaking, ZANU-PF think everything is okay. That's why, please, flood social media with truth. Only truth. And don't forget to buy your parents Starlink, okay? But some of you need to wait a bit, because I'm sure prices will go down. If you can't afford, wait. By December, next year earlier, prices will go down. Because everyone needs to be part and parcel of this conversation. I love you, and bye for now.